Kikita Kang. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's me, Dear Kitty Review, back again with another video, and we're here at the final trailer for Avengers Doomsday, which shows off the Wakandans and the Fantastic Four. But it's kind of funny where I thought, okay, so this is the final trailer, and technically speaking, for a movie called Avengers Doomsday, we haven't actually gotten a glimpse of our villain so far, which I can say for Marvel is kind of a plus, where you're just introducing us with the side characters you actually introduce along the way, along phase 4 and 5, where the fact that, yeah, is this going to lead somewhere where we thought it was going to lead to a Kang Dynasty, but it's leading more to a Doomsday. As for where we left these characters, we can start with, yes, we have to acknowledge the fact that Chadwick Boseman died and the fact that Black Panther Wakanda Forever couldn't be the movie Ryan Coogler wanted to make intendedly. Where I thought, okay, so this is going to be about T'Challa and his son, knowing that he had a son in the midst of all this where he disappeared. And once he came back, he had to deal with the relationships of him being a father while also trying to save Wakanda from the fact that we have another villain out there named Namor, which I don't even know if in the original script it was going to be like this, but also that Namor is more influenced by Hispanic culture, where I was like, I'm gonna have a bias if I see it in the movie. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, so the same way, the same influence that Ryan Coogler did with the first Black Panther, he did with Hispanics in this movie. So I was like, am I rooting for the hero or am I rooting for the villain on this one? And when it came out, surprisingly, it was one of those experiences where, yeah, Black Panther came out in February with Black History Month, and funny enough, almost Black History Month from the fact that this is coming out in January. Like the same way we had people of all ages come for Black Panther, it was the same way for Wakanda Forever, where I was like, oh, we went with my dad late at night around like a 7:30 screening, and the fact where I was like, there's a lot of Hispanic people here than usual, and by the point where I saw abuelos, abuelas, older people, where I was like, oh, so this isn't just a movie just for like, oh, it's another Black Panther sequel, so I'm gonna be seeing, oh, a majority of diverse cast or a diverse number of people in the movies. But I was like, oh, we're seeing Hispanic families in this thing. Who knows? We might be in for a story. And the backstory of Namor, especially not the fact that he's called Namor, but Namor, like El Niño Sin Amor. I was like, oh, I I don't even know if I should root for the hero, but I feel like I should be rooting for that guy. As for the Fantastic Four in this case, I might as well just say and acknowledge the fact that yes, I didn't review Fantastic Four, and yes, it's going to be coming in the main MCU reviews on the way. But looking at Fantastic Four First Steps, I thought, okay, it's a good reintroduction to the Fantastic Four. Yes, it does that thing where, oh, we skipped the backstory, but the thing is that, yeah, I'd rather see the backstory with them because there are some characters you can pull this off with, like Superman for one, Batman, even Spider-Man. But I thought, okay, with the Fantastic Four, if you were to tell anybody what's their origin story, you would assume they are like mutants. But most of the comic fans know that they went into space and the cosmic rays really affected their DNA, giving them these powers. But I thought, okay, well, in this movie, they really speed ran through all that and went through the whole adventures, especially being though this movie takes place 4 years after they got powers, skipping a little bit of the intro. Oh, these guys are freaks, technically like a guy you stretch, somebody turns invincible, somebody on fire, and a giant rock monster who doesn't even know whether he's a viable member of society. But that's all resolved in this movie where I'm like, yeah, you don't see that, but that's a review for another time. As for Doomsday, this is going to be the first time we're seeing the Wakandans after Wakanda Forever. So we're going to be seeing Shuri and M'Baku come back in this one. Not Okoye, which is a weird, not additional factor where I'm like, is the Dora Milaje not in any part of this movie? But we'll see everything with the context. So, in that case, let's get to the trailer. Shuri.
I've lost everyone that matters to me.
Namora.
The king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife.
Namor.
I have mine.
M'Baku.
King M'Baku of Wakanda.
Ben, Yancey Street, between Broome and Grand.
The Wakandans and the Fantastic Four. Even though we see one of them. I gotta talk about this because I didn't even mention this for the fourth time in the video. As for the last trailer for Avengers Doomsday, it's shorter, just like the X-Men trailer, but also you get a little bit of hints of basically what you need to know for the characters. Shuri, she's still dealing with the loss of her brother, and that seeing as though, yeah, she lost everybody in her life that's important to her. And Baku's King of Wakanda, confirming that, oh, he did win the challenge at the end of Wakanda Forever. But Shuri is basically the Black Panther, and noticing a little bit of a costume update. Like instead of the whole black and gold outfit she had in the last movie, inspired by Killmonger and her brother, she has a little bit of a blue texture in her costume. Not only that, but also the fact that Namor, instead of him just going all, I want to say, balls out with just the green tidy whities, he's actually in a cloak and a puffer jacket. I wouldn't say he has the collar out, but I'm like, it's kind of funny that you have Fantastic Four members in this trailer, but not include the one where I'm like, so is he gonna meet up with Sue Storm? Is she gonna be the ambassador from her world to Talocan? And the fact that where I'm like, we have a Mexican character and a Chilean character. So is it gonna be two Hispanics versus one white woman in the case of Mexican versus Chilean? It's just a funny conversation we're having with each other. The fact that both characters are Hispanic, and funny enough, both Hispanics are fighting over a white girl in this case. But also, I want to talk about the things designed in this because not only did we get like a, yeah, he looks comic accurate enough in Fantastic Four First Steps, but seeing as though the transition from there to Doomsday, where, yeah, he looks almost like the Jack Kirby design, but also with a beard, which we haven't seen in the early movies, but also the fact that, oh, it's a little bit more updated for today's standards where, yeah, it's been a couple years, I would say 5 year exactly after the events of that movie, so we're in farther deep in the timeline of the MCU. But seeing the Fantastic Four finally interact with other characters from the MCU or the Marvel universe is the first in this case, because you can just remember that the Fox X-Men movies, yeah, we had the first two, but they were still in their own little separate universe. Even though there was a deleted scene where you saw Mr. Fantastic transform into Wolverine CGI wise, there was a planned crossover with Fan Four Stick, but we already know how that movie turned out. So yeah, that ended up not being a decision they wanted to make. And seeing as though we kind of did see Reed Richards, John Krasinski interact with other characters in Multiverse of Madness, say, "Oh, this is going to be your reintroduction to Reed Richards," until he got killed in an instant. And those aren't the returning actors we're going to be seeing for this one. Also, if I want to add, this is basically almost like the first, I wouldn't say polar opposite, but I can say the first time Black Panther did show up as T'Challa, it was in a Fantastic Four comic issue. And also the fact that that was his first introduction to me in the cartoon animated series from the 90s, where I didn't find out about Black Panther until I'm watching all the Marvel cartoons. He showed up in X-Men, but also the fact that I'm more recognizing from I wouldn't say X-Men, but also the fact that he did cross over in Fantastic Four, especially voiced by Keith David, where I'm like, I'm surprised he hasn't voiced him as a lot of Black Panther characters in shows, because I'm like, he was a good voice, and his voice is still good for now, even especially Spawn. We don't have a look at Doctor Doom, but I feel like that's gonna be a thing later along the line. Like, let's say maybe during the Super Bowl, or maybe during a first trailer reveal, or possibly at Comic Con, because I feel like it's coming out in December, and a couple months before that, they're gonna have to start doing the marketing for this thing. And if you want to show off Doom, would be for that first trailer, especially though we've seen him in the post-credit scene, but we technically didn't see his face. There's a lot of things in Avengers Doomsday that everybody has to really get along the lines of, okay, we're rushing into this. Fantastic Four was the first to introduce Doom, but the fact that we didn't even see him in that movie whatsoever, and the fact that he was referenced, and funny enough, if they did show him, it'd be funny if we did see Robert Downey Jr., but just with a scar on his face where I'm like, yeah, it's funny that the fans know who that is, but also looking at the movie, it's like, we know who that is already, so you might as well just show him. And for this trailer, I don't see Ben Grimm with a sports jacket, because I thought, yeah, with some of the designs for these characters, where some of the X Men look like they're taking inspiration from the 90s cartoon animated style, where Mystique has a dress, but it's incorporated into a costume, almost like Captain Marvel. But the fact that the Fantastic Four are wearing like sports jackets, where they have the same outfits from the last movie, but they just have like a jacket over them. I don't know what that does, or that's like a, oh, we're just settling into modern times or something like that. I don't know. All there is to say, this quadrilogy of trailers is done, and I guess The next time we talk about an Avengers movie would be if I review all the MCU movies back to back, because at this point, I'm at Loki season 1, and I guess, okay, I got a couple more movies to go, and I'm basically reviewing all the Marvel movies from beginning to end, but I'm just starting with the MCU just to be like, yeah, let me get a refresher on this whole thing so like that I can get to the other stuff. Lastly, before I go, this shirt has significance because I didn't just wear it because I had to rep my boys of Talakan, but also the fact that I'm like, yeah, during Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I did a little TikTok short where I was like, yeah, thanks to another YouTubers called The Mexcellence and a podcast where I feel like they ended a couple, wouldn't say years ago, but I'm like, damn, it feels like it's been a while since they uploaded something. But I feel like, yeah, they made the sound effect, so I used that as my TikTok, and I had to incorporate for this video for you. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All my social media is in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.